coffee we've used in this collab is from a real pioneer in the coffee industry called Sebastian Ramirez at El Paseo farm in Colombia. He's a real pioneer of these sort of fermentation, anaerobic, carbonic maceration techniques, and especially integrating the use of different yeasts and bacteria in the case of this coffee hops in the processing of it. So this coffee is a carbonic honey process, so it's undergone 200 hours of fermentation. The coffee depulped, it leaves like a mucilage, which is very high sugar content protective layer on the coffee bean. He then puts them into tubs filled with CO2, and to that he adds his selected yeasts and hops from a local brewery he works with in Colombia, and then ferments that coffee for 200 hours to create a really unique flavour profile. So Sebastian has worked very closely with a local lab to really understand sort of the local flora around his farm, so he can really understand what yeasts and bacteria are present in the fermentation that occurs in his coffees. Through that process he can effectively use selected microorganisms as an ingredient in the processing, and then borrow techniques from the wine industry or the sort of beer industry in this case, to inoculate other coffee processes with those selected microorganisms. So in this case he can pitch yeast and hops into the honey processed coffee during its fermentation, and that leads to really unique and distinctive profiles in the coffee.
Okay, so the concept of this beer, we've been developing it for a while. We had, on the second to last release for Field Recordings, we did a beer with Merciful. It was a barrel-aged beer and coffee, and we worked with Dogwoods finding the right coffee for that. And as part of that process, they mentioned that they were getting some really interesting coffees in, and one particular one with hops and yeast were part of the process. We got a sample sent to us, and I was so excited by the aroma and flavour of the coffee. I started thinking about how we could incorporate it best into a beer. The obvious place to go is the stout and the dark beer, because those flavours are work together very well, very naturally. The kind of coffee, chocolate, darker roasted flavours. But I thought with this coffee, because it was so light and zesty and floral, and it would be overwhelmed by a dark beer. Modern coffee often is quite acidic, and so we thought that might play into it. We could, it would maybe be an appropriate profile for the coffee. So went for quite a neutral base, lightly sour, not too much acidity, not too much character, a little bit of hops, just for a touch of bitterness.